There we go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the latest episode of the Almost Awesome podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sam Nicholson, joined alongside by Taryn Owens
Hello, hello.
and Daniel Moxey.
Hi.
So, if you didn't already know, this is basically a podcast where we gather people from all corners of the globe to talk about all your favourite topics. And so we might as well start. What have you guys been playing lately, just real quick?
Well, I've pretty much just been playing lots and lots of League of Legends. That's about it.
Playing all the
Moxey.
lol. What about you, Moxie?
A couple of weeks ago, I bought A Link Between Worlds for my 3DS. And,
nice.
Oh, it's one of the best Zelda games I've played. Definitely the best top-down Zelda game. It's awesome.
There you go. See, League of Legends is something that I've never really been able to get into. I mean, I've tried it a few times. I've probably played it, I don't know, for a total of 12 hours in my life, maybe. It's just not something I can really get into. But it seems the MOBA genre is getting, like, really big. But and it's a genre that some people seem to be getting slightly sick of, but it's still growing, especially in the esports sort of environment.
for sure.
But it's one genre that I'm fairly sick of hearing about, but what about you guys? Are there anything that you think that we're getting a little bit too much of, that you're a bit turned off on?
Definitely first-person shooters.
Oh, you stole my answer.
Everybody is sick of first-person shooters. Every game that comes out is a first-person shooter or a Minecraft clone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I've noticed
Rocket
that.
League.
There's like... Oh,
Sorry, I was just being rude.
this is why I love indie games so much. Because, I mean, it's just like... all the AAA games, it's like... This is going to redefine the shooter genre. And it's just like Call of Battlefield, modern Halo Warfare with Titans.
More of the same.
The exception
be-
being Splatoon, but that wasn't a first-person shooter, that's third-person. And that's Nintendo,
Yeah.
they're weird.
Fair enough. But to be fair, every company that tries to, do something different, no one buys the game. Titanfall. So, why change something that's going to work, I guess?
Oh, people
Yeah,
bought
that's exactly true.
people bought Titanfall, I thought.
Not really. That was dead in like 3 months.
I think it's
It
sold
was,
alright, except not many people hung on to it for too long. It didn't have much of a life to it.
Yeah, sort of like
It's got a niche following now. All these people, I know a few people who they absolutely love it.
yeah. Another one
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
really
game
sick
that works.
of is
But if you had
Titanfall.
asked me,
Works.
oh, sorry. Yeah, if you had
Titanfall
asked me
works.
this question about a week ago, I would have said first-person shooters as well. But yeah, a few days ago, I bought Battlefield 4 on PS4 because it was $20 at EB Games, and I'm an impulse buyer, so I just had to. And I don't know, I haven't played a first-person shooter in a while, and it was sort of a like breath of life. I don't know, something different for once, which is really weird considering all I used to play was first-person shooters, and I got really burnt out on them. But no, I've had a lot more fun with that than I have in a while besides Rocket League.
Yeah, Battlefield 4 actually works now, does it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it works perfectly.
it's been working
Oh.
for a while now. They actually fixed it, which is good.
Well, I thought they pretty much gave up on it
No.
with Hardlight coming out.
Yeah,
And,
Hardlight
Yeah, I
came
thought that
out,
as
what,
well,
like
but they
2
did
days later?
fix it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I've just bought it on PS3 because I got it for $10 in Dick Smith, so I'm hoping to get around to it eventually.
No, yeah, 3 was a huge disappointment to me. I had that pre-ordered. It was the first game I ever pre-ordered, I think. I had it pre-ordered ages before it came out, and
Yeah.
then it was pretty much broken on launch, and it sucked on Xbox 360, and yeah, that wasn't a fun experience. But yeah, with League of Legends, what do you think is the draw for MOBAs for you, Taryn? Why do you like it so much?
I don't know. I think it's more just getting better. The same way, you said you used to play Halo competitively.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's the same sort of thing over and over again, it's more just getting better and, of course, trolling.
Yeah,
Online trolling.
Of
It's
course,
just
trolling.
the
I used to be really into LoL. I used to absolutely love it. I've gotten a bit sick of it, but um, what I loved about it was the constant improvement. It's just like you keep playing and eventually you learn something new and you start wrecking and it's just fun.
Yeah,
Um,
when you get that feeling of, you get 10 kills in the first 10 minutes and you start destroying everyone with one ability, you just feel powerful. Like you feel like
yeah,
you're God.
10 kills in
yeah.
10 minutes. I don't think I've gotten 10 kills in my entire 10 hours. That's insane.
Yeah.
See, I
I'm
think I've
so bad
played.
at LoL.
Really?
It's
Yeah,
got the
so bad
saltiest.
at it.
It does have like the saltiest community in the world.
The community
Yeah,
is
so much so.
absolutely terrible.
They're garbage. I mean,
Except,
it makes sense in a game like that though, because one person, one bad person on your team can make you lose, um, so easily. So if there's a person who's bad at the game, the community's going to go nuts at them, and that's why it's so salty.
yeah, I understand that. But, I mean, I used to get frustrated whenever I'd try to play public Halo online and there was someone bad on the team in like a 4v4 or something and they'd be slowing us down. That'd frustrate me a heap. But the community, on the other hand, I was watching, you guys have heard of Vice, right? They do like sort of news stuff
Yeah, yeah, I
on
love
Yeah.
YouTube.
Vice.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a documentary on what they were calling esports. I call it competitive gaming. That's hardly a sport, but that's a subject for another
That's not.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll argue with you another day about that.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm
we'll
on
leave that
time
debate for
for
another day. But yeah, no, and it was all about the League of Legends community in like Korea and stuff like that, and a little bit in the US. And the community seems absolutely insane. They'd fill like a 20,000 person room or stadium just to watch a couple of teams play a game of League of Legends, and they were
Yeah.
crazier than football fans here. It was absolutely insane. Like uh, back in the old days of MLG, when it was all Halo, or even when it became a little bit more sort of Call of Duty-ish, there was no following like that with video games. No one was that into competitive gaming. Even some would consider that to be its heyday. It's gotten insane. So that's a pretty
well,
positive side to the
it's just
community,
the
I think.
thing. If you're in South Korea in the 1990s, professional StarCraft was massive. They had stadiums and
Yeah.
stuff. It's been a thing in like Korea for a long time. Um,
StarCraft's their national sport, isn't it?
yeah,
Pretty sure StarCraft is South Korea's national sport.
yep,
That's actually pretty cool.
So
it's amazing. They have like all these free TV channels where you just watch StarCraft.
that's
I
really
love that.
cool. But
And
yeah,
now
I
we have
mean,
Twitch.
yeah. But I mean, the community in game is terrible. In person, like I went to an event last year for the League of Legends World Championship. They were showing it at a pub down in Sydney.
Oh,
We went
cool.
down there, and in real life, like the community is actually really good. Like there were 500-600 people all in this little pub just watching a League of Legends game, and there's a lot of people you don't expect. Like there were massive bodybuilders coming and all this sort of stuff, and they're like, yeah, I know what you're thinking. I probably shouldn't be here, but this is cool. So
Yeah, no, that is cool. That's something I'd get into if it was a game I was interested in. Like, I can see why people would go to a League of Legends tournament. I can see like how competitive and intense it can get. But it's a game that I don't understand, so it's probably
yeah,
something that I wouldn't go and watch unless I was super into it. But
There's
if
a
they
massive
started
learning curve.
playing, I don't know, like FIFA or yeah, Halo or one of the old Halos anyway or something like that, I'd be so down on that. I'd go down to a pub and watch that sort of
yeah.
stuff. But
I
yeah,
mean,
I
me
don't
and a
know.
couple of mates.
Yeah,
Uh,
MOBAs
yeah,
are something I sort of want to get into, but it's something I find a little bit too daunting. And I don't know.
They are
I'm a little bit
it's
sick of seeing them
such a
in every
huge learning
corner of
curve.
everything.
Like before you play a MOBA, you should really be just researching, doing all this stuff, or you're just gonna have a bad time.
You're
see,
gonna
when
have
you
a
say
bad
it like
time.
that,
Yeah.
when you say it like that, though, it sounds like it requires far too much effort to try and get into it.
Yeah,
Like
exactly, and that's my
just
issue with
jump
them.
in. It's not that
But
hard. Like just jump in and have some fun.
and like turn off your chat.
Nah, you play with friends, so it's fine. Like I jump into
Yeah,
games sometimes, and like we have a group of five of us that sort of play as a full team, and I tell most of the time at the start of the game I'm gonna play stupid this game, and I just run around doing stupid things. You just have fun. People don't understand a game is meant for fun, not for extreme seriousness all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's why Rocket League is so successful at the moment. No one takes it seriously, and it's just genuine fun. Just
Oh my
hitting a
god,
ball around with a car.
Rocket League's amazing.
gee, that
I mean,
game.
I don't think anyone realized it, but I think it's what everyone has always wanted their whole life, and they didn't realize until they played it.
Exactly. Yep.
Have you played it yet, Moxie?
I've played a few minutes of my brother. My brother has it, but my computer probably couldn't run it because my computer's
Yeah.
a piece of rubbish.
Your
Um,
computer
No, I
would run
played
it.
on PlayStation, where it seems to make more sense. I don't know. That game seems like it'd be so hard to play with a keyboard and mouse.
no, it's not too bad. I got used to it pretty quickly.
No, I use a controller, Xbox controller, straight into the computer. It's much easier. I tried using the keyboard. It's like no.
Yeah, I
The
can't use
physics is
keyboards for
just
anything.
yeah.
I wonder if they'll get like the Fast and the Furious cast together or something and make a Rocket League movie.
That would be
Or
amazing.
they just turn it into a Fast and Furious movie where while playing a game of car soccer they have to go and do a heist or something. And
Of
you know,
course. Do
the
one
rock
last job for
there
the
and
sixth time.
all that.
And it involves having a massive soccer game inside the bank.
Yep.
You know. But
With like a bomb. They're
oh my
kicking a bomb
god.
around cars.
The bomb's
Yeah.
ticking down, and you've got to knock it into the vault to
I
blow
would
the
pay
vault
to
up
see
to get
that
to the
movie.
money. That
That'd
actually
be a
sounds
great
pretty
movie.
good.
Yeah, exactly. We should get this happening. That's like the second good idea we've had. We've had, a dog in The Witcher and this
Oh
Rocket
yes,
League
Jetpack
the
dog.
Fast and
the
Furious
jetpack
crossover.
dog.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jetpack Dog.
I
But
hope someone makes a mod of that. I hope one day we become famous and someone makes a mod of the jetpack dog in The Witcher.
oh, wouldn't that be
That would be
amazing? Put
beautiful.
that in almost awesome lore. But yeah, man, there are some bad video game movies out there. Like you guys have seen the Tomb Raider movies, right?
I
No.
haven't seen them because I've heard so much negativity about them. I just don't want to
Oh,
see them.
I've only seen one of them, and in that movie, Lara Croft, she's like underwater, and there's a shark, like a great white shark, swimming right at her. It's going to eat her. So she punches it in the face, and it swims away. And at the time, I thought that was the most foreign and stupid idea, and that would never work. But then this year, Mick Fanning, the surfer, punches a shark in the face while he's getting attacked, and the shark swims away.
Yeah. Mick Fanning was like, "Who's Chuck Norris? I've never heard of her."
Yeah, exactly right. But oh, jeez. And what's another horrible video game movie like Tomb Raider?
Oh,
I
there's
mean, not
God
Tomb Raider,
plenty of them.
friggin', we were just talking about that. Well,
Street
Prince of
Fighter.
Persia. That's what popped into my mind. I was thinking of Jake Gyllenhaal, and I said Tomb Raider. Him and Angelina Jolie don't look that much alike. But yeah, did you guys see Prince of Persia?
I've seen little bits of it here and there. Again, that's another one that the reviews are just so bad. I just don't want to see.
Fair enough.
Pixels
I
has
don't
pretty
blame
bad
you.
reviews.
Yeah, Pixels looks awful. It's Adam Sandler strikes again. This is like grown-ups with a few video games thrown in.
God, Adam Sandler needs to just
I
retire.
really enjoyed the first Grown Ups. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed it. It was not that bad. But yeah, Pixels looks awful, except for that one bit where the creative Pac-Man goes up um to Pac-Man and talks to him. That looks pretty funny.
Yeah, Adam Sandler really just needs to retire. Like, over it.
Well,
He
the
really does.
thing is with Adam Sandler is that movie's fulfilled his contract to Sony, and he didn't want to be with Sony. He's said in an interview, he's just not interested. So he didn't put in any effort. So now that he's away from them, he might actually put some effort into his movies again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fair
We'll
enough. I
see.
don't know.
He's
I
got to
think the
go back
last
to
good
adult
movie
movies.
he did. Yeah, I think the last good movie he did was probably The Longest Yard.
Oh, there were a
If
few
you
good
guys
ones after
know
that.
that. I don't know. I'm sort of having a mental blank.
Yeah, me too.
But
I
yeah,
haven't seen a lot of his movies. I definitely don't want to
except
see Cat Hill, just from what
yeah,
I've
that
heard.
looks awful. Except
Well,
what
that was
movie's
actually
great?
pretty funny.
The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh my gosh, just don't.
Oh my God. Don't
Just
go there,
don't.
please.
Are we allowed to acknowledge its existence?
No,
No.
no. That's
Alright, so
what
it's
is
like
this
Indiana
video?
Jones 4 then.
Okay.
It's a bad
It
dream
is
that everyone in the world had
it
at
is in
once.
my bad books along with the Zelda CDI games.
Don't
It's
think I've ever
just,
played them, so I wouldn't know.
yeah, you don't need to play them. You just need to watch a short video of one. That's all you need to see to know it's the worst thing ever.
A more recent movie though that was actually really terrible was Need for Speed that came out last year. Have any of you seen that?
Oh, I completely forgot that existed. I saw about
Yeah,
10
I forgot
seconds
that
of it.
existed as well.
It looks like
It's
budget Fast and the Furious, and even Fast and the Furious has gotten arguably awful as of late.
that's pretty much. Hey, Seven wasn't that bad. Come on.
I
Well,
don't know about that.
Seven's success rode on the death of Paul Walker.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I
about
guess.
that either. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought they're getting a bit too far-fetched and a bit out there. I mean, jumping a car between skyscrapers, come on.
It's not meant to be
And the
realistic.
stupid one-liners, like where The Rock tears his cast off, he's like, "Daddy's got to go to work." Oh man, it's terrible.
I
He
love
just
stupid
picks up a
one-liners.
minigun from a crashed attack helicopter. Oh jeez.
It's like that awful oh, which Batman is it? Is it Batman and Robin? Yeah, Batman and Robin, and Arnie as Mr. Freeze has the worst but best one-liners ever.
That had to be intentional because those one-liners are perfect.
Oh, it's so great. It's like, hey Batman, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Oh, Mr. Freeze, fantastic. That movie is also corny. Man, nah, Fast and the Furious is getting way too far-fetched. And like when that
It
car
needs.
that they jump between the skyscrapers when Vin Diesel's looking at is like you can't lock a beast in a cage or something. I don't know, all these awful one-liners and just cheesy moments. It's not as good as what it used to be.
Yeah, that's a series that needs to die. That series has run its course like 4 times.
I don't think it's gonna die though. I think they've
Oh
just
no, of course
recently
not.
said that there's, another trilogy coming out. So
What?
Yeah, they did say that. Yeah.
What?
Seven was the
What
beginning of a new
else can they
trilogy,
do?
I think.
It's like, oh, we just got the DeLorean, so we're gonna travel into the future to get faster cars to jump off
Oh man,
future
a Back to the
skyscrapers.
Future and Back to the Future and Fast and the Furious like mashup is something I would totally watch.
Oh, I would totally watch that. That would be beautiful.
no.
Oh,
But speaking about movies, bad video game representation, other way, bad movie representation of video games. Have you tried any of the other way around movies that have become video games, such as Back to the Future? They're really not
Oh
um,
much
yeah,
better.
Telltale did that, didn't they?
have you
Yeah,
ever seen a Harry Potter video game? Because they're not based
they're
on
all
the books, and
they're all
they are
terrible.
awful. Oh,
Well,
there's a couple
Oh,
the
there's a couple
Chamber
of
of
good ones
Secrets wasn't
apparently.
too bad. Chamber of
Apparently,
Secrets
there's a
was
couple
alright.
of good ones with like good combat and stuff. I remember there was one on Game Boy Advance. It was the Philosopher's Stone, and it
Yes.
was um and it was not awful.
Was it Game
I,
Boy Advance or Game Boy Color?
oh, it was Game Boy Advance,
I
I
had the Game
think.
Boy Color version.
Oh, okay.
So there might have been one on both, but the Game Boy Color version was actually not too bad.
Yeah, the Game Boy Advance one, I remember having a bit of fun with that. I mean, I was like 6, but still,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably hate it now, but I remember Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup on the original
Oh,
Xbox.
that was
that was a
amazing.
thing.
That was
Yep,
amazing.
that
I
game
love
was
that game
beautiful.
so much.
Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. There you go.
Yeah.
Can you
So what
play
would
as
happen is
Australia?
you'd play as like Gryffindor or any of the other houses. I can't be bothered to name them. And once you've won the Hogwarts Cup, you can then do the World Cup, so you can play as like Australia and stuff. And they've got all the different broom designs. I remember it was pretty fun.
That was a really good game.
That was a good
There you
game.
go.
That's a good Harry Potter game.
One awful licensed game that I can remember is there's this Lord of the Rings one. It's like set in an alternate storyline where there was a different fellowship instead of the proper one. I forget what the game's called. My mate has it sitting in his games collection on his shelf, and I always look at it and laugh. 'Cause I
What
remember
was it
playing it
for?
when I was little. Except they were all like blatant rip-offs of the actual Fellowship, and
Oh,
except for Gandalf, he was still in it. But I don't know. It was one of the worst and buggiest games that I've ever played. You'd be sitting there trying to slash enemies that are right next to you, and your sword's just going through them and not getting any hits and stuff like that. But it was great.
I remember having a bit of fun with War in the North.
That's a semi-recent one, isn't it?
Yeah, it was only a few years ago. Um, I obviously
Yeah, no,
used a dwarf because
this game
why would
is
I ever
like
use anything else?
this game would have come out around the time the actual Fellowship of the Ring movie did, I think, or maybe a couple of years after. It was like early original Xbox.
Ugh.
Back in the golden era of games. But I'm not sure if there are too many good licensed games out there either. Like Spider-Man 2, that's a good one.
That was fantastic. I loved that game. Oh, I played so much of that game.
Yeah, me too. That was childhood.
PlayStation 2. Those were the days.
Those were the
Oh, I had
days.
an original Xbox.
I had
Uh,
both.
God damn it.
I just can't stand Sony controllers.
Really? Sony could.
They're
No,
fine.
I have big
Great.
hands and they're small controllers, especially the earlier DualShocks. They're just small, so I can't stand them.
The PS3 controller, it sucks without a doubt, but the PS4 controller, I think, is the perfect controller.
Mm, nah, the triggers aren't real triggers. I still can't stand it. It's
Oh,
better. It's certainly better. Like I can actually hold it and feel comfortable. Um, but yeah, the triggers and bumpers I still don't like, and the tips like of the joysticks are they feel a bit cheap.
They get ruined so quickly. At least my first controller did anyway. But I don't
Yeah.
know. Back onto
Well,
licensed games
on
though.
eBay you can buy like Xbox Ones which you can place on top of them or something.
Yeah,
I've
you
seen people
can.
do
That
that.
requires taking a controller apart. Oh, to place on top, yeah, you can get like little plastic things, but yeah. Some people put like Xbox One actual sticks in and stuff like that, but that takes effort and time and stuff I don't like. But yeah, no. Back onto the topic of licensed games. What are some of the best and worst that you guys have played?
Is this licensed games or just games in general?
Licensed games.
licensed games.
Right.
I did specifically say licensed games, Daniel. Listen up.
Sorry.
It's all good, mate.
I
I
think
don't
the first
know.
one we all have to mention, the best one of all time, is Aliens Colonial Marines. Thank you. Thank you.
Game of the generation.
That
Yeah.
is game of the century. Oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever.
Wasn't that exactly like the E3 showings that got everyone so pumped?
It
Yeah,
was
like that
identical.
gameplay in the trailer and then in the actual game, they were like exactly the same.
No, that exceeded everyone's expectations.
Yeah, it was terrible. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Oi, oi, oi. Don't insult it. That game is
Oh god.
beautiful.
I don't know. What other games?
What are some more terrible licensed games? Oh, I've
I
already
can give
talked
you.
about the Zelda Philips CDI games. I mean, they're not really from movies, but they were licensed to Philips by Nintendo. And
I can give you a
oh,
few terrible ones.
Yep.
We've got things like Enter the Matrix,
Oh,
which was
yep.
god awful. Um, what else have we got here? Um, Over the Hedge.
that was a
I used to
game.
love that game when I was little.
It was terrible. Come on.
I loved
I
it, just
used to love
whacking
that
people.
movie.
Yeah, me too.
That movie was.
Uh,
I still think that movie's hilarious. I haven't watched it for ages though.
and then finally, we've got the only game that can compete with Aliens Colonial Marines for best game of the century. Superman 64.
Oh, wait, wasn't that last
Not
century?
broken
I
at
thought that
all.
was 90s.
Yeah, well, we'll say a century's, just 100 years in there somewhere. We don't need to talk about, time
It
periods.
was Nintendo 64, yeah. But,
Yeah,
oh man, that game, I've actually played that, have you?
You will
I
never
have.
find your friends
I
in
have
this
not.
virtual world. All right, well, I just won't go there then. I'll look somewhere else.
Fair enough.
Superman, he fights with the rings.
Leo,
Oh,
man.
There were definitely some really good licensed games as well, like Simpsons Hit and Run, Simpsons Road Rage.
Oh, those games are fantastic. Star Wars Battlefront. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Oh, Star Wars Battlefront. If
Um,
EA actually does their job for once, doesn't release a buggy, horrible mess, I'm gonna be so happy.
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
It's
No,
hoping
I'm
that.
waiting
Simpsons.
for the day one DLC, which is like, do you want to purchase half of the game for another $50 day one?
Of course. Kidding, but no, Simpsons Hit and Run. Wow, I'm amazed you've mentioned that. Oh, I completely forgot about that game, but I don't. I finished that game countless times. I loved that.
Oh yeah,
I've never played
GTA
it.
in the Simpsons universe. Oh, you are missing out. 10 out of
jeez,
10 would
yeah,
recommend.
yeah. Best game, one of the best games on PS2, legitimately.
Yep, without a doubt. I remember a friend lent it to me, and I don't think I ever gave it back.
Oh god.
What other licensed games are there?
It
You've
was
got
a
all the
lot.
Telltale stuff, the Walking Dead, Game of Thrones. They're always good.
Yeah, Telltale's good. Not that I've
Yeah.
played them, but yeah.
Hey, anything
All the
except
things that I've
Jurassic Park.
played.
The Jurassic Park take was terrible. And Law
I
and
haven't
Order.
played that or the Back to the Future one.
I haven't played Back to
Certainly
the
not
Future.
games that I'd want to be stuck playing for the rest of my life.
God
But
no.
There
yeah,
was a Teletubbies game on PS1.
there was.
Wow.
Yep.
Actually, I remember playing a Mary Kate and Ashley game with one of my old friends' older sister because that's what she made us play because she was older than us. She's like, we play what I want to play. So we were running around just like riding horses through a mall or something like that. I don't know. But that was early PS1 days as well. But yeah, no, like I said, the games that we want to be playing. If you had to pick one thing for the rest of your life, if there was one game that you had to play, or maybe at least just a series, what would it be for either of you?
If it was a series, it'd be Zelda because I couldn't go without that. Um, but if it's a single game, it'd probably be maybe I don't know, maybe TF2, just because I can get so many hours of that and I don't get bored. Oh no, Smash Brothers, of course. What am I thinking? Super Smash Brothers.
Smash isn't a bad choice at all. What about you, Taryn?
Pardon? What were we on? Sorry.
Talking about if you were playing one game for the rest of your life, what would it be? Or at least a
Oh,
game series.
geez, I have no. A game series. I can choose a whole series, can I?
Yeah, a series or a game, or both.
Well, if I can choose a series, definitely. What's it called? Grand Theft Auto.
Mm.
Grand Theft Auto or Saints Row 4. The amount of stuff you can do in those games is just absolutely nuts. It's so much content.
Yeah, I think I'd
Um,
have the same choice.
yeah.
But I don't know. If not, I'd probably play. If Halo 3 online was still a thing and it never died, like if it was still like, fully populated and stuff like that, I think I could play that for the rest of my life. I played so much Halo 3. It's one of my, it probably
It's
is
just
my
a good
favorite
game.
multiplayer game ever.
It's a good
Um,
game.
if not that, I'd probably go either the three Mass Effect games or maybe FIFA even, playing FIFA online. That's addictive as hell as well. If everyone stopped playing as Real Madrid because Ronaldo is overpowered as hell, I'd definitely be playing FIFA online for the rest of my life. Ronaldo is such an overpowered prick. He can score from everywhere. So of
How is
course
my
everyone who plays FIFA online plays as Real Madrid just so they can score from everywhere and has it easy.
How
Oh,
could
I,
one
I could
character
rant
be
about FIFA
OP?
all day.
How could one
Huh?
character be OP in FIFA? Like you're just
Because
character kicking a
in
ball.
yeah, no, actually, in FIFA, basically they base player skill in the game after the real life player. So Ronaldo is one of the best in the world, so they make him specifically overpowered as hell. So every player they have different stats. So they might be really good at shooting but poor at defending and that sort of stuff. They model that after the real life players. So You
Yeah, I
know, that
remember.
way,
Remember on that game, my brother got Messi into into the Sydney FC.
yeah,
What?
and Messi would have teared up because he would have been playing against players that don't really compare. So they try to
Yeah.
make it, yeah, as real as possible. So yeah, except for some reason they bump up Ronaldo to be way better than he actually is in real life, and you know you can just run around every player and score from anywhere, and it's frustrating. And I've broken a controller over it once, but yeah,
Oh, that's beautiful.
good times on the Fitas. But yeah, I think the GTA series would have been my pick if Taryn didn't pick it. Screw you, Taryn.
Yeah. There's just so much content you can't say no to GTA. Like, you
Yeah,
can
that's exactly right.
go play soccer in GTA 5 if you want.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm playing GTA Online with my friends all the time, even now. I was playing it
Yeah,
last probably like 2 days ago.
what are you playing it on?
PS4.
Oh, so you're playing the beta version. Okay.
Wait, playing the beta version of what GTA online?
Yeah, PS3 and Xbox 360 alpha tested it. PS4 and Xbox One tested after that, and then they gave the full version to PC.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
There you go.
that's
I
the way
didn't
it
know
works,
that.
doesn't it? That's why it took so long to come to PC. No,
I
that was
did
a
think that
terrible
that was
joke.
a thing.
That was a terrible
Oh,
joke.
was
I'm
that a
sorry.
joke? All right. I thought you were being serious. I was like, what?
I was like,
No,
what
I
are you
just had
talking
to throw
about?
in. No, I just had to throw in the obligatory PC Master Race comment. That's all.
Yeah, geez, that went right over my head.
Jesus. I'm
Good
sorry.
attempt, Taryn.
That was terrible. I give up. I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, fantastic. But yeah, no, definitely one of those games I could play for the rest of my life, unless I was playing on like FIFA 04 on PS1. I could never play that. I really disliked the PS1. There weren't too many good titles on it that I found, except for maybe like Crash Bandicoot and stuff. It's probably my least favorite console of all time, and a lot of people are gonna hate me for that for sure, because you know any
Mm.
PlayStation fanboy is absolutely obsessed with the PS1. But what's your favorite and least favorite consoles?
I kind of have to agree with you. The PS1 isn't really that good. A lot of people think it's good simply because of nostalgia. Like you've got the Final Fantasy VII, the Crash Bandicoot, the Spyro, all that sort of stuff. But other than that, there was nothing. Um, yeah, I don't know about you, Moxie.
Uh, well, Philips CDI is a pretty bad console.
Are you just looking
Oh,
at
that's
consoles
true.
on Wikipedia?
No, Philips CDI is what the horrible Zelda games were on.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
fair
like the
enough.
fourth time you've mentioned the system this show, I guess.
Yep, because oh, it's just so bad. It's bad. But
Have
I've
you
never
ever
actually played one, so that doesn't count. Um, the consoles I've played, um, I disliked the PS3 mainly because I played for an hour and my hands felt so bad with those controllers. Um, what else? What what what's my favorite though?
The
Can't think of a
Nintendo
favorite
64.
console at the moment. I love the Nintendo 64. I still have mine. It's hooked up to my 60-inch TV. It doesn't look very good, but
See, I see Nintendo 64 the same way as I see PlayStation 1. A lot of people just think it's great because of nostalgia. There's not an over amount of good games on it. Same as all Nintendo
uh,
consoles, really.
see, this is where we have to disagree
Yeah,
because
me too.
there were a lot of good games on Nintendo 64. In fact, the worst thing about that console was the controller that only worked properly if you had an extra arm growing out of your chest.
Yeah, an extra arm.
Yeah.
For those three-armed people in Japan.
Yeah.
But no, the 64 had a great library. You've got what Super Mario 64, Mario Party 2, Star Wars Pod Racer, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask,
Yeah,
Oh,
but see,
Majora's Mask.
Mario Kart.
compare
Super
that to
Smash.
what you have on compare that to what you have on on Nintendo consoles now. 20 years, 15, 20 years later, it's exactly the same stuff.
Oi, oi. Splatoon. Pikmin.
One game. Two. Pikmin was out on Wii.
There's no GoldenEye
Yes, there
on
was.
New
They
consoles.
re-released it on Wii. They re-released it on Wii.
Did they?
Yeah, they re-released it and it was terrible, broken.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah,
Golden
to
Eye
me,
was great.
Nintendo consoles just seem like it's the same stuff over and over again, and people like the old consoles just
Well,
for
no,
nostalgia.
see, another thing is it's the same franchises, but I've found each game in the franchise can be often different. Now, I'm not saying they never do sort of repeated things, like Mario Kart is often more of
Rainbow
the
Road,
same.
Rainbow Road.
Hey, come on, I think people would get cranky at Nintendo if they didn't put a Rainbow Road in every
Yeah,
game.
I guess, but every
But
game, Rainbow Road. Come on.
but it's fun. Rainbow Road's always different, like
Rainbow
I
Road
map.
is
It's just the same
frustrating.
art.
I hate Rainbow Road. I can never finish it under 10 minutes. I always fall off the edge.
Oh no, Rainbow Road was my best map on Mario Kart Wii.
It is
I
the
used
hardest
to
map
go
on Mario
online, I'd
Kart Wii.
always vote for it, and there'd be all these people who are like way better than me at the game, but they can't beat me at Rainbow Road because I just played it too much. I
Yeah.
was so happy. It was so sad. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but Nintendo do sort of rehash things, but they often as well will put a new game in a franchise, and it will be totally different to the last installment. I think Zelda is a prime example. I mean, the basic premise of an awesome storyline and puzzling is there, but apart from that, it's there's totally different things in each game, and I think you compare Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, which are on the same engine, to each other, and they are completely and utterly different games.
Yeah, they are. Or you
Yeah.
can look at what they did, Nintendo through with Mario, all the 2D ones and with Super Mario 64, and then with Super Mario Galaxy, even though 64 and Galaxy are both the, best 3D Mario games, Galaxy is above and beyond different to 64. I don't know.
Yeah,
Except then I can see, how a lot of the times it's repeated. Like, obviously, you always have Mario Party, and that's always the same. You always have Mario Kart, or some
yeah.
variation of a Mario sports game and all that. But no, I think the best console, or my personal favorite console, is the Xbox 360. Um, I mean, just the library that's had since
The the
2005. Like,
360, the 360 was incredible. I
it was.
loved my 360. It got so much use. Whereas my
Yeah,
one
so did
hasn't
mine.
really. Although when I buy Mortal Kombat, it will.
Some of my favorite games have always been on there, like Red Dead Redemption, GTA 5, Halo 3. There were just so many good AAA games that came out on it over time, and obviously they're all usually on PS3 as well. Just the 360 had the better controller and the better online service.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's why the 360 is my favorite. Like in all the Batman games, you just can't look past it. I don't know. What's your favorite console, Taryn?
No, I think I'd have to go with popular opinion and say the PS2. I've still got mine set up. Some of the games on the PS2 were just, you've got uh, they're so good I can't even remember them right now. Jesus.
Ratchet and Clank,
Um, Ratchet and Clank, the Jack and Daxter, all that sort of stuff. And then you still had
Star Wars
these
Battlefront.
sort of Jesus. I never actually played that.
Oh,
But
geez, wow. You have to.
but yeah, and then you still had some of those immersive sort of games like Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, which they were well before their time. So
Yeah.
also the
I
control.
often talk smack about PlayStation, but the PS2 is a fantastic console. Um, it's especially in terms of what it's actually done for the industry. It's
Its
just
life its
its
lifespan
lifespan
was
was
absolutely
incredible.
amazing. I think
Um,
the last game released on it was like 2 or 3 years ago, actually.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it was a FIFA game.
Yeah, they were still releasing FIFA on it until I think FIFA 13 or 14.
I think it was 13. I'll Google it real quick.
I'm looking at it now. FIFA 14.
FIFA 14. Wow, so that's two
FIFA
years ago.
14 was yeah.
I
So
don't know.
at,
It's what's something that's a bit before our time because we're all a bit too young. But the NES, the SNES, I should say, um,
yes, I have a
is
SNES
another
sitting here.
console that the SNES or whatever you want to call it. I don't think anyone calls it that, but it's had a huge impact on the industry. Um, yeah, that console was awesome as well. And I've played a few SNES games, and I just love it.
They are
Yeah.
pretty good, especially some of the old like Zelda top-down games. Like Link to
Link
the
to the
Past and stuff
Past.
are great on that.
Link to the
But
Past is a very important game.
yeah, it is.
It'll never be my favorite. It's I don't know. I find its dungeon music annoying, but no, it's got a lot going for it, that game. And the reason I love Link Between Worlds so much is it's just all the little nitpicks I had about Link to the Past have gone in Link Between Worlds. And instead they put all these new mechanics in, and it's just a fantastic game.
Yeah, looking at FIFA 14, I just had a thought. That has to be the first game ever to be on 3 generations of consoles at once.
What was it on the
Like to be
PS2, the
released on 3
PS3?
and the PS4. Yeah,
14 was on the PS4, was it?
yeah,
That is crazy.
Wow. That's
that has to be
yeah,
some
I
sort of record for sure.
never realized that.
Well, they are still making 360 games,
Yeah, they're still
PS3
making
games,
PS3 games as
and that's
well.
going to
Yeah,
keep going for ages. I have this funny feeling that it just keeps going. I'm like, why did I buy my Xbox One? All these games are still coming out in 360.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like, Microsoft might have learnt from last time where once Xbox 360 got to, I think it was a couple of years old, they just went, yeah, no more. We're not supporting Xbox Original anymore. Go away. I think this time they've kind of learnt that they can't do that and they need to support it for a longer period of time. So,
Hmm.
it'll be interesting though.
yeah, certainly not. But I think that it just can't be debated. I don't know. The 360 is the perfect console. Well, actually, I wouldn't say perfect. It was lacking a few things. I mean, it could have done with games with gold for a longer time or something like that. But I don't know,
A,
just the
a nice
library that it had
D-pad.
from yeah, or and a nice D-pad, yeah. But just the library that it had for ages, I just think to all some of my favorite games, of all time, most of them are on that system. And
Mm.
think to like,
Yeah.
LA Noire, the Batman games, Red Dead Redemption, just
It seems like
Mass
rather than
Effect.
just the Xbox 360, it's like that just generation in general. The PS3, Xbox 360 generation just had
That was-
all these good games.
But
And
maybe we think that just because of the time we're in. We sort of
Yeah.
grew up with those consoles more than most. I mean, yeah, sure, we
yeah,
grew up with the original Xbox and PS2 as well, but we got to play sort of, games when we were a little bit older at least, in our teenage years and stuff like that with these newer ones. So, maybe that's sort of a nostalgic thing for us as well, like how, older people really love the NES and the N64 just for nostalgic reasons. Who knows? But yeah, it'll always be my favorite, I think. You can't beat it.
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess. Fair enough.
360 was awesome. Um, uh, that was a fantastic generation. Nintendo did well. Nintendo actually won in sales, which is pretty funny with the Wii. Um,
Go away,
Damn Wii
Nintendo.
Sports.
Nintendo's still making games, actually. They still have games coming out on the Wii. Well,
Yeah, they
one
do.
game. Just Dance 2016.
oh,
Yep.
okay.
So,
Although, does Nintendo make them? I don't think they do. I think
no,
that's
Ubisoft.
yeah.
But yeah, it
Yeah,
makes
someone
sense because
uses
it's like the best platform for it, the Wii, with and simply because no one wants to develop for Kinect or Move.
Well, Kinect is not great, and Move is no one even uses
Worse.
it. Move's worse. Yeah.
Move isn't that bad though. I didn't mind it when I used it a few times.
Yeah. See, Kinect on Xbox One is actually it's well done, but it's just there's no support for it. I'm not a huge fan of motion control in general. I mean, Nintendo got it right, but I still think I prefer playing with a controller.
Yeah, fair
Yeah, me
enough.
too. But what do you think is the most hated console of all time? Like the one that's universally, everyone just shits on.
Um,
It has to be the Nintendo Virtual Boy, doesn't it?
yeah,
The Virtual Boy for sure. Yeah.
I
Other
think
than
that's the most famous of all the consoles that people just hate.
Yeah, of
He
all the
did.
console flops.
Yeah. Or the Nokia
Flop.
N-Gage.
That too.
Yes.
Actually, that reminds me. What's everyone's favorite handheld?
Ugh, Game Boy
3DS.
Advance.
3DS.
Yeah, 3DS for me too. I think.
Oh,
Oh, actually, no,
Nintendo's
Game
got
Boy
us
Advance.
somewhere.
I'm gonna go with Game Boy Advance.
Nintendo's
Game
got
Boy
us somewhere.
Advance. Game Boy Advance was awesome. Had lots of SNES titles. In fact, that's how I've played a few of them. And yeah, it just had Game Boy Advance was amazing. Um,
It had
yeah,
the
An
best
honorary
Pokemon
mention.
games out of all of them.
Which one?
3DS is
Well, I'm gonna say two of them actually are my equal favorites. Fire Red. I mean, that's a remake. Screw me, but it's the superior version of Red. And Emerald. Those are the two best Pokemon games, in my opinion. Anyway, I've spent a lot of hours playing those. And yeah, like you said, Moxie, there's lots of great SNES titles. Like you can play Super Mario Brothers 3 and 2 on it, and they're great games. And I don't know, I had just a great time with the Game Boy Advance. And I used to play the Ninja Turtles games a lot. I don't think they were very good games, but I was a Ninja Turtles obsessed kid. So yeah, I remember always loving kicking ass with those guys on that thing.
Yeah, I've got to give a special mention to the PSP though. That was a great console. Handheld.
You
good
know why I loved the
console if you
PSP?
love JRPGs, and that's like it.
No, I
You
Oh,
got
loved
a
my
lot of
PSP.
JRPGs on that thing.
I
Yeah,
did a
it
lot
is
of
actually.
homebrew
It's
on
great.
it.
But no, the reason I loved my PSP so much is that when I lost my Game Boy Advanced, I hacked it and got a
Yep.
Game Boy Advanced emulator on it and could
Yeah,
keep playing Game Boy Advance games.
homebrew and emulators. That was
Yep.
the PSP in a nutshell.
Yeah, it really was.
What about
I think
worst
I've got an
handheld ever?
N64 emulator on it too. I've got like Smash Brothers and
Yeah.
Super Mario 64, and yeah, oh man, I haven't played that thing in ages.
What about
Worst
worst
handheld.
handheld?
Worst handheld. Oh, the DS, the original.
No, definitely not.
PS Vita?
The Vita's. Oh, it could potentially be the best, but it probably is the worst at the moment.
It's the best in terms of like the hardware, but worst in terms of what you can do with it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That Nokia thing you were talking about earlier is pretty bad.
The Nokia N-Gage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. That shouldn't even exist. Go away, Nokia. Um,
I don't know.
yeah.
Name some great DS titles. There's not really too many.
Um,
I don't, Mario Kart?
Mario Kart
That game
DS
was
is one of the
great.
best Mario Karts. Um, Trying to think. Drawn to Life, won a lot of awards, and that was a DS game.
I
Um,
had that game.
Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, I loved. Um,
Platinum?
and Platinum, yeah.
Yeah.
What else? I'm
Jump
just
Ultimate
sitting next to my
Stars?
pile of DS games here. Um, Zelda Phantom Hourglass wasn't great, so yeah, it wasn't that great. But
Yeah,
apparently,
I hated.
I haven't
I think
played Spirit Tracks, but apparently it's really good. It's
I
just
heard it was even
people.
worse.
No, people made fun of it because there were trains, but the puzzles and stuff look incredible. I've seen videos of it, and I just think that game looks like a lot of fun.
I don't know.
Um,
My main pain with Phantom Hourglass is that you had to move by dragging Link along with the touchscreen.
See, no, that wasn't my main worry with it. My main worry was the flippin' boat. You'd draw a course for it and just sit and watch while
Oh yeah, I
your
forgot about
boat
that.
traveled around. Uh, I've got my DS games here. Nintendogs. I think my Nintendogs are dead.
Nintendogs. Yeah, rest in peace, Nintendogs that haven't been fed since '07.
I had a pug on Nintendogs, which was basically like super pug. It could just do backflips and all this crazy stuff.
Super Pug.
Nice.
I mean, if
I
you
think
could
the DS.
consider how lazy pugs are, that pug was incredible.
I think the DS was more just was like a more proof of concept than it was here's a ton of really great games. And then when they
Well,
brought
the
out
thing
the
is,
3DS, it
DS
was
is
just
the best-selling handheld of all time.
because it was new.
Yeah,
It was something
it was.
completely different. That's what I mean. It was more a proof of concept that this is the way we should be going than it was here's a ton of memorable games. You know what I
Well,
mean?
there were a bunch of good games on it. Now, when I had my DS, I had no money. And the only games that are coming off the top of my head are the ones I've already mentioned, pretty much. But I mean, all I hear about it from a bunch of other people who did have money at the time was how much they loved all the games on it. I mean, if you guys played Drawn to Life, that game was awesome. I have
Yeah,
that
I
for.
hadn't finished it. That was a pretty cool game.
It was just like, what can we do that's going to be really unique and interesting? And they did it, and it was awesome. It got all the, it got nominated for a bunch of awards. It got a few awards, actually won them, and yeah, it's just good.
Yeah. I don't know. Did any of you ever play Jump Ultimate Stars?
Never heard of it.
It was essentially, do you know, have you seen the new is it PS3, PS4 game with all the Japanese anime characters in it?
J Stars Ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah, it was essentially a DS version of that, and it was never actually released here, but
Oh, that sucks.
I downloaded it and it was absolutely amazing. But
Yeah,
I think it's about
it's
time we
pretty
start
good.
wrapping this up, eh?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
move on to trivia. So I hear you have a question for us, Taryn.
Yeah, so just going back to terrible movie adaptations of video games, which of the following video games does not have a movie associated with its IP? So we've got Silent Hill, Postal, Dead or Alive, or Wolfenstein. Moxie, do you want to go first?
Sorry, can you say them again?
So we've got Silent Hill, Postal, Dead or Alive, or Wolfenstein.
Okay. I haven't played any of them. Um, uh,
Always a great fighting game.
Dead or Alive.
I'm just gonna go Postal. I don't know.
I'm
Okay.
going to go. Oh, well, that was going to be my answer, but now I have to go with something else. So I'm going to go with Wolfenstein.
You've got it right there. There is no Wolfenstein movie out yet.
Oh, there you go. I thought there was. I thought I
So
was wrong.
no, they've got one planned apparently, but it's not out yet. There's a
Oh,
Postal
sweet.
movie, a
There you
Dead or
go.
Alive movie, and a Silent Hill movie. I haven't seen any of them, so I can't say whether or not
I've
they're good or
seen Dead or
bad.
Alive. God awful. But the games are good.
Of course, the games are good. Everybody loves the games.
They're great games. Although I haven't played DOA 5. But yeah.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so that's been our episode for this week. Thanks for coming along, guys. Yeah, I guess I'll see you all next week.
See
All
ya.
right. See ya.
Arrivederci.
Yeah, that was alright.
Yeah.
It was indeed, but I really got to pee, so I'll be back in a second.
Yeah.
No worries.
I think I have to go for dinner. So
No worries.
see you guys
Goddamn
later.
Australian internet. We kept talking over each other. That was the only
Yeah,
problem.
we did a bit. Oh well. We can
Blame
edit it
lag.
and stuff. We got a
Yeah,
lot of
blame lag.
content in there, so
Yeah, it was good. But
alrighty.
yeah, no worries.
It's
Catch
been
you later. I
fun.
think it was
Yeah,
good.
see ya.
Catch ya. Full stop play.